If you like my videos, don't hesitate to share it, to subscribe, or if you feel like it, to leave a comment. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing fine. If I tell you tropical fruits, you probably will think about mango, pineapple, banana, or papaya. And you would be right. Whoa, not so fast. It is true that those fruits are tropical, but they are far from being the only one out there. Some of you might think about avocado, for example. And there are many others that reach our Western supermarkets, but today we're going to try to dig a bit deeper and see what kind of other fruits Indonesia has to offer, and more generally Southeast Asia. Of course, I'm not going to list all the fruits Indonesia has to offer. It would take ages and we clearly don't have time in one video. So I'm going to focus only on the fruits that are edible, rare in Western countries, but also common in Indonesia. And we're going to start straight away with the dragon fruit. This flamboyant fruit is called dragon fruit. It is rather common in Indonesia and in Southeast Asia in general. But, unlike almost all the other fruits in this list, has been imported from the Americas. Its flesh is rather sweet and watery, with plenty of small seeds, which is not without reminding slightly of kiwis. But, unlike most of the fruits we are used to, it doesn't grow on a tree, but on a cactus. Now I see you coming. A fruit growing on a cactus? Really? Well, it's not the only edible fruit that grows on cactus. You can think about the prickly pear that also originates from the Americas and is slightly better known in Europe. This weird fruit of the size of a big marble is called longan, which means dragon eye in Cantonese. This name comes from the fact that it looks a bit like an eyeball, and that, when fully ripe, the fruit is slightly translucent, which allows to see its dark seed that can give the impression of the iris of an eye. To give you an idea, it is part of the same family of fruit as the lychee, but is sweeter than this one without being as aromatic. Now some of you might find it disgusting to gulp a fruit that looks like an eye, but the fruit itself is rather sweet and nice, and it's actually a very nice idea, I don't know, for an Halloween snack, for example. Another weird looking fruit from the lychee family, this fruit vaguely looking like a hairy stress relief ball, is named rambutan, which derivates from the word rambut, which means hair in Malaysian language. This fruit is, just like the longan, quite widespread in Southeast Asia, despite not being as good as this last one. The langsat doesn't look far off the previously seen longan, but is in fact from a different family. It is native from Southeast Asia, and more specifically from Indonesia, Malaysia, Southern Thailand, Philippines, and Western New Guinea. The fruit in itself tastes sweet and slightly bitter, while rather juicy, even if there are differences between cultivars. Another very common fruit in the country is the wax apple, known locally as jambu air. It looks a bit like a red bell pepper from the outside. But when it comes to the taste, it doesn't taste at all like bell pepper, which I kinda regret because bell pepper is very expensive in Indonesia and I would have liked something to replace it. Now those wax apples don't taste like apple either. They are very watery, much like a watermelon, but not as sweet as those, and also very, very bland, which makes this fruit rather worthless, culinarily speaking, in my opinion. Know, however, that not everyone share my opinion about this fruit. Some people do actually enjoy it. The jackfruit is like none other, called even a miracle fruit by some. Indeed, while a jackfruit tree can live over 100 years and can bear between 100 to 250 fruits a year, each fruit can weigh from 5 to 50 kilograms And they are extremely nutritious, rich in fibers, vitamins, and minerals, while being poor in cholesterol. This fruit is so extraordinary that some scientists see it as the solution to replace the staple crops threatened by the climate change.
Of course, this fruit is not going to solve by itself the problem of the climate change, but it may, at least partially, damper a bit the food crisis that it will induce. Taste-wise, it tastes a bit like pineapple and banana at the same time, while having a firm but juicy consistency. It's rather nice.
It can be eaten raw and ripe, or cooked and green.
To be perfectly honest, it's not my favorite fruit. But it's definitely a fruit worth checking, especially if you are visiting Indonesia or Southeast Asia in general and have never been confronted to this fruit before.
Now the durian, the king of all fruits, eaten and loved all around Southeast Asia. It might be rather unknown in our Western countries, but this fruit is a legend. Legendary for its unique taste and texture, but also for its extremely strong and foul smell that tend to imbue food, clothes, furniture, and anything in general that stays long enough in contact with it. To the point that this fruit is forbidden in many hotels, but also in the airports and other transport services all around Southeast Asia.
Now, if you ask me if the fruit smells as bad as the legend says, I'd say yes, without any hesitation. As for the taste, some people might say it tastes a bit like pineapple, banana, almond, honey. To be honest, I don't really know how to describe the taste itself. It's very alien to me. But I know one thing, it's more or less like blue cheese. Either you love it or you hate it. As for me, I completely, absolutely, and without a doubt hate this fruit and everything made with it. But if you go to Southeast Asia, I would still advise you to try it out, as its taste is so alien to our Western palaces that in itself is a singular and unmissable experience of Southeast Asia.
Soursop is a fruit that has nothing to do with durian or with the Dutch, unlike what indicates its local name in Malaysia and Indonesia of durian belanda, literally Dutch durian. While durian is sweet, the soursop, like his name states, is a bit sour and is described as a combination of strawberry and pineapple or apple with citrus-like notes. Its texture, as for it, is a bit creamy.
In my opinion, this fruit is perfect for mocktails and mixed fruit juices, but its taste is a bit too alien to my taste to be eaten on its own.
The sapodilla is like the dragon fruit, the second fruit on this list that has been imported to Indonesia. It actually, just like the dragon fruit, finds its origin in the Americas, and more specifically in southern Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean archipelago. The fruit tastes a bit like caramel or brown sugar and is very sweet, unlike our next fruit. Our top one, the snake fruit, known locally as salak, is a 100% Indonesian fruit that grows on a specific kind of palm tree and finds its origin in Java and Sumatra. Its scaly-like skin gave him the logical name of snake fruit.
This fruit is very peculiar. As you may know, palm tree can have very different kinds of fruits. The most commonly known would be coconut or dates. Well, this fruit is, again, very different from the previous two, as it's crunchy like an apple, and its taste range from slightly sweet to extremely bitter, a bit like a lemon.
For some reason, this fruit is mostly consumed locally and few people out of Indonesia would have heard about it. Indonesia is the biggest, if not the sole producer of this fruit.
All the fruits we talked about in this video are either very rare or impossible to find in Western countries, with possible exception of United States, as United States have some tropical parts. I'm thinking about Florida, for example, but also with the exception of Australia, as Australia is geographically close to Indonesia and Southeast Asia in general. And there are many others I didn't talk about, like the Belimbing Assam, the Kedongdong, or the mangosteen. Well, I can only advise you to try out those fruits, the one on the list and the others, as you experiment a country through its culture, its history, its language, but also through its food. That's it for this video. I hope you've learned a few things about the fruits of Indonesia. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. See ya!